They are 4 deep and very good players. The Sedin twins are 2 of the best in this draft, Patrick Steffen and Pavel Brendel, and all of the teams at the top felt that any of those 4 would be great players to pick. But obviously there's teams like Vancouver who would like to see the Sedin twins together, and we believe at this point then that they've engineered a way of doing that. Who will have the first pick? Will Daniel and Henrik be going to Vancouver? Who will go ahead of them? Gary Bettman will start to unveil this mystery as he introduces the teams and the first pick in the 99 entry draft.
1999 NHL entry draft. Let's get started. I would normally announce who has the first selection, but we have 3 trades to announce before we get started. First, Vancouver trades Brian McCabe and its first-round pick in 2000 to Chicago in exchange for Chicago's first-round pick in the 1999 draft. That's 4th overall. Tampa Bay trades its first-round pick overall, the first-round pick in today's draft, to Vancouver in exchange for the 4th pick overall in '99, previously acquired from Chicago, and 2 third-round picks in 1999, the 75th and the 88th overall. The third trade, Vancouver trades to Atlanta the 1st pick overall in this year's draft in exchange for the 2nd pick overall this year and a conditional 3rd-round pick in 2000. What that all means: the picks in this draft 1 through 4 will be made as follows. 1, Atlanta Thrashers. 2, Vancouver Canucks. 3, Vancouver Canucks. 4, Tampa Bay Lightning. The first selection in the 1999 NHL entry draft belongs to the Atlanta Thrashers.
Well, how's that for excitement to start the 99 entry draft? Brian Burke indeed got to 2 and 3, and you can be assured, Greg Millen, that he made a deal before he moved the pick to the Atlanta Thrashers, the #1 pick, that they would not take either of the Sedins. He's engineered this so the 2 Swedish phenoms will be Vancouver Canucks. Atlanta will get the first pick, Tampa Bay drops to 4th, and Chicago, with 2 picks in the first round, gets Brian McCabe and a first-round pick from Vancouver next year and drops down to 23rd with its only pick of the first round. And the Thrashers will have the #1 pick in their inaugural season. Has stolen the first pick, then Brian Burke has certainly stolen the show, and we're about to find out what he's up to. Brian Burke is ready to announce his picks, and he's already hinted to Craig Simpson what he's going to do. We expect the Sedins, Daniel and Henrik, to be number 2 and 3. Will they change things up and pick Henrik first, just because all the scouts say Daniel's better?
That's exactly what was going through my mind.
Vancouver Canucks seriously need help at center ice. They had some depth at defense, and that's why they were able to deal Brian McCabe to Chicago to get all of this process started and moving up. They have Mark Messier and no heir apparent. That would apparently be Henrik Sedin. They need skill for Mark Crawford's team, and they've added skill or are about to do just that with the 2nd and 3rd picks in this 99 entry draft. Gary Bettman about to introduce his former right-hand man. He was the vice president of the NHL and very prominent then. Now he's the president and GM of the Vancouver Canucks and very prominent at this draft as he reacquaints himself with his former boss, Mike Penny, who's the director of amateur scouting. Mark Crawford, the coach of the Vancouver Canucks, follow Brian Burke to the stage, and I think there's some butterflies and some trembling hands as the Canucks get set to announce the 2nd and 3rd picks. There are 2 jerseys there, so apparently he's going to make both selections now.
The Vancouver Canucks are very proud to select for Marshall Svink, Team Moto of the Swedish Elite League, Daniel and Henrik Sedin.
Daniel in the dark blue shirt, Henrik in the light blue. At least I think the way that is it. This is the National Hockey League's version of the Parent Trap. Daniel Sedin, a prolific scorer off the wing, loves to go to the net, a little more flamboyant than his brother. His brother, Henrik, is 6 hours older, which makes him the spokesman for the family. But Daniel Sedin and Henrik Sedin have been an entry throughout their life in hockey and are as they enter the National Hockey League.
And Henrik perhaps with not the same scoring touch as, well, not quite as good as Daniel, but they both can be very crafty around the net. And Henrik as well. Maybe a little more grit to his game, but very little more than Daniel. A wonderful pair together. And the question now that we're all going to ask, how are they going to be separated if they have to be in the National Hockey League? Well, we don't have to ask that question anymore because they're together.
Well, through the years, there have been many twins in the National Hockey League. I go back to the 1982 draft when Ron and Rich Sutter were drafted by different teams, but it didn't take Philadelphia long to make a deal to reunite the two. Patrick and Peter Sundstrom played together. So did the Ferrero twins, and so will Daniel and Henrik Sedin. Now we know, or at least they've said yesterday, they are going back for sure to play with Modo in the Swedish Elite League next season, maybe for the next 2 years, but now that they're together on a National Hockey League team, could that be changed?
Yeah, and it was another perhaps ploy by Michael Barnett, one of the better agents in this league and in the business. Was he perhaps saying that just to play his little card in this draft? Much like Rich Winter did in his situation with the concussions. You know, agents do have a great deal amount of say in the high picks, and a nice sight to see these two young men together. And all the teams that interviewed the Sedins will tell you this: they're fine young people, and Brian Burke must be thrilled to have them both.
Very cerebral family. They have been described to me as two young men who know exactly where they're going in their career and know how they're going to get there. Now they know exactly where they're going. And here's the National Hockey League's version of the Parent Trap, and let's see if Craig can figure out who's who.
Right, it's a little bit of a double take here. Guys, congratulations. How does it feel to get a chance not only to be drafted, but to stay together? Daniel first.
Well, this is what we want, you know, so we're happy.
How about a chance to go on the West Coast, play in Vancouver? Do you think that's going to be a great opportunity for the two of you to grow in the NHL?
I think so. We heard lots of good things about Vancouver, so it's going to be great, I think.
Was it as big a deal to you two as it seemed to everyone else, the fact that you had to play together, or would you have been fine to be on different teams?
You know, we're best friends and we played on the same line for 6 or 7 years, so that's what we wanted.
All right, guys, thanks very much, and congratulations. Brian Burke, the orchestrator of this entire deal. Brian, are you pleased that, through all this work, it was finally able to get done, and what a job getting both of them together?
Well, it's been a lot of work. I give Bob Murray a lot of credit. Bob drove a real hard bargain here. We paid a very high price to do this, in my opinion, and I credit Bob Murray with really helping us put this together, and I wish him luck with his pick, and I wish Brian McCabe luck with Chicago.
Well, the tough question now, a lot of questions, whether the Sedins will be going back to Sweden and not playing for a couple of years. Do you feel confident that you'll be able to get them in the lineup next year?
That's a possibility. They've indicated they want to finish school, so it might be a year, but there's still a possibility for next year, and that's certainly what we intend to try to do.
Well, good job, Brian. Would add to the excitement of this draft. Congratulations. Guys, again, the action continues down on the floor.
To announce